All right, welcome back to Tulsiology. My name is Dave. Thanks for watching this channel. And for those of you who have continued to subscribe to the channel, I appreciate that. I know I've been all over the place with regards to content and um, branding and so forth, but I appreciate those who have stuck with it. Um, I'm kind of at a personal crossroads, though. Um, I just watched Tulsi Gabbard give a very inspiring message about Diwali. If you're not familiar with Diwali, it is a Hindu based Indian type celebration. I think it was referred to in a couple areas as a festival of lights, which again, if you're Jewish, you might understand that to some degree as well. I'm Christian, so I'm not familiar with a lot of the Hindu holidays and so forth. But in any event, she gave a nice little come together kumbaya video, which I do believe is an important um, element to how we're going to heal ourselves from the constant barrage of negativity and destructive things that we're doing and saying to one another. However, I've come to the conclusion that even though I'm a peacemaker and a lover of peace, I understand at this point that if things are going to change in this country, that peace is going to have to kind of flex its muscles a little bit. And what I mean by that is there's going to be a new peaceful revolution where people don't take up arms, they take up ideas and they go out and they demonstrate and they protest peacefully, lawfully. They do all these things to show that they are united and that their determination and their sheer will and hopefully their sheer numbers will begin to upset the system. Tulsi Gabbard has a nice problem. And I mean that in her nicety, her niceness is not going to be an asset for her moving forward, at least in the political realm. The political realm right now is it's like combat. And is even though I think Tulsi is as tough as nails, people turn on and they watch her and they go, but I'm really angry and I really need to express myself in a way, maybe in a low hot ish way, but at times during the campaign, Tulsi used a few colorful words when she got angry, and it's that kind of try to be peaceful, try to be nice, but be kind of blunt and direct and maybe a little bit scathing. I mean, her Hillary Clinton tweet is still it's still one of those things of beauty that you go back to and look at. People aren't going back to look at her aloha tweets. They're going back to look at the Queen of Warmongers tweet. We're in a situation, folks, where the whole idea of aloha isn't going to fly with the majority of American citizens. And I'm not saying it's wrong to demonstrate aloha. I'm just saying the nice stuff isn't going to fly. We've got the supposed office of the president elect. It's a new office. I've never heard of that before. We do have a contested election. They may run a disclaimer on the video saying AP has called the election for Joe Biden. Tulsi Gabbard congratulated the office of the president elect and said something like, gee, I hope you can do this unity thing that you're trying to do. If anybody in the world, and see, this is where the people who don't like Tulsi Gabbard or the people who worked for Tulsi Gabbard, I'm thinking of one woman in particular up in New Hampshire. just have lost their mind when she starts talking about Joe Biden in this way, that Joe Biden is going to be a peacemaker. He hasn't had any, you know, record of being that type of politician. I know they're putting him out there and they're making him say things. And then you've got Kamala Harris, who Tulsi Gabbard destroyed in the primaries during a debate. Absolutely. I mean, it's legendary. And this is the person. This just shows you that Tulsi Gabbard is a way better person than me. But here's where I think, and we've got to be honest about this, is that Tulsi Gabbard should have stepped forward and said, oh my gosh, yes, I'm hoping that Joe Biden, wins and so forth, but what a horrible pick that was. This is against everything that I'm for. And I get the fact that you want to kind of throw like aloha at everything and hope that some of it sticks to some of these people, but they're ruthless, they're corrupt, and let's not pretend that they're not. And I think there's a certain amount of cognitive dissonance if you're sitting here and you're thinking, hey, these two people, it'll work out, they'll be all right. This is going to be some of the most divisive and damaging stuff to our country because people have serious questions about this election. And I know the first thing the fact checkers are going to do, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say there's absolutely no evidence. Oh, there's evidence. The fact checkers aren't looking for that evidence. What they're looking for is compliance. And I don't care if it's Donald Trump or Donald Duck. If this election was stolen or rigged, and by the way, the Democratic Party has a tradition of stealing and rigging. They just took it to the national level and not within their own ranks. So whatever Tulsi Gabbard decides to do with her future, she has to understand that we love her because, yes, she's aloha, but we love her when she calls out the corruption and she's blunt. Her Joe Rogan interview was blunt and to the point. There are many times during this campaign where she would do town hall meetings and she would address every type of issue. And sometimes things would come from the left, sometimes things would come from the right. That was the beauty of the Tulsi Gabbard rally or town hall, is that she would welcome everybody in and then try to talk to them individually. There wasn't a collective agreement on everything, and that's again what made Tulsi Gabbard such a great candidate. But I am worried that nice is not going to be the way forward. I mean, you could still be a decent person, but when I watch Tulsi Gabbard, she just oozes out this love and niceness. And I'm actually saying that, even if you're a Bible believer, there is a time for war. It's not that I don't think there's a time for peace all the time, but a physical war is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a war of ideas, a war of words, a war where you refuse to back down from the establishment and from those that are telling you the same thing over and over again and trying to convince you that this is what you believe and think, even though you don't believe it and you don't think it. And I don't know if Tulsi Gabbard, if it's in her DNA to get outside of this nice that she's just genuinely nice. And I don't know if politics is a good place for her. I really don't. I think she'd be better at a charitable organization that does good and tries to make an impact in her own community and then maybe globally. Because right now, the way politics are set up, I mean, you need a bull. You need somebody who's going to go in there and knock over some things, tip over some tables. And that's what I think. Now, I may be wrong, and who knows how long I will continue to do this channel, because, quite frankly, promoting Tulsi Gabbard and knowing that the way the political system is set up, and we saw how destroyed she was during this entire process, and how she, continues to rise from the ashes and turns the other cheek. So she's almost more of a spiritual figure right now than a political figure. And I know a lot of people love that about her, but right now I'm more concerned about keeping the republic. And so I'm at some point I might be just moving on, because I see that there are larger battles to fight as a citizen, and I would hope that some of us would forget about whose party is being destroyed, or if it's Donald Trump and you're just like, okay, I can't stand that guy, good. It's way bigger. It's so much bigger than Trump. So again, thanks for watching. I'll have more thoughts on this stuff in the future, and I will do more videos. It's just that, politically speaking, you need a hammer right now. And as much as you want to throw love and peace and all these things out there, I think people need to ground themselves in those things so they don't go insane. But as far as politics, I don't think that's the way forward, unfortunately. Not right now.